All right, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kudash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that's teaching His word in all true faith and sincerity. And today, I just want to tie this lesson: the nations will be saved for slavery. And pretty much, this is a response, to those Genesis Israelites. And I don't know how much it is for a nigga to say that a Moabite could be saved, but that's not in the scriptures. At the end of the day, when the smoke clear and the dust settle, literally and figuratively, it's gonna be a regime change. The Israelites will be on top and the other nations will be on the bottom. They will be subjects. They will be tributaries. Some will be jesters and punching bags. They will be at our disposal. Just like now, how we are subject under his laws and legislations. But when it comes to us, everybody got to be in on it. The other nations was able to experience all the resources of the earth and, have the people at their disposal. But now when it's our time, we're going to have it in its perfection. Now nigga want everybody to come join. How sick is that? But at the end of the day, they don't want justice. And they want to be here in America. Because at the end of the day, you're not teaching, but we're teaching, beginning with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone here on down. That just means you want to stay here in America. That just means you want to be here in America. Whether a nigga saying the mark ain't the seed help to all nations could be saved. Even you saying you in a new covenant. I wouldn't want to be in a new covenant in America. So, but just going back to the point is that these nations will be saved for slavery. And that's justice, man. So let's get this in start out this in the book of Psalms chapter 2. In verse 8 it reads, "Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession." See? So the heathen is an inheritance. And this concerning our Lord Yahushua. But us being joint heir, Lord willing, we're part of that number. This is our inheritance as well. The explanations and what comes with that. Because they got an inheritance, which is their land, which is resources on that land. They're going to be in that land cultivating the resources for us. They're going to have to pay tribute and give us these resources, whether gold, precious metals, and spices, minerals. You got probably a certain material, some silk from Taiwan, it's a certain type of, So that's for these nations, they're going to be our subjects. It says, "Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them pieces like a potter's vessels." And that's going to be their sacrifice. See, these nations, when they go off, they're not going to get a bullock. You sprinkle the blood on the altar and you put the organs in the fire. They ain't doing that. They're going to get their head beat and told, "No, that's off." until they get it right. See, it's going to be a penalty because the law, statutes, commandments, that's going to be the standard. And that show you that they can't be, because the new covenant, we're going to keep the law, statutes, commandments. And that's going to come with rulership. The nation, they're not built to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So that's why we're going to beat them and keep them in line. But as you can see, this is the inheritance. Matter of fact, let's get this in Revelation 22. I mean, not 22, Revelation 2 and 26. It reads, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, to him will I give power over the nations. See, you see the results of following Yahweh Shai. And that show you them niggas don't follow Yahweh Shai. This is part of the reward, and you're looking forward to this, to having power over the nations. Being over them at your disposal. Like I said, you're going to have some as jesters and cupbearers, and you just want to feel angry that day and express your anger out on something and use an Edomite. That's what they do. These devils would, do things to Jake and experiment. You wonder why he know how a human body will react in space. When the things we're going to do is going to be in righteousness, though, man. That butt breaking and shit, we ain't going to do none of that faggot shit. We're going to beat his ass, and it's going to be in righteousness. That's why it's going to be worse. It says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. See, this is going to be a rigorous rule, a dictatorship. For Moabite eat a rat, he going to get his ass beat. Like I said, he ain't going to be able to get a turtle dove to calm things down. He's going to have to get his head beat. Even the thoughts, will be tracked. It says, as the vessels of potter shall they be broken into shivers, even as I received of my Father. And that's what we read in Psalms 2. So when is this going to happen? In the kingdom of heaven. This is not just something that just are written just for you to just read past it. No, this is a commandment. This is going to actually happen. This is a scenario, a scenario, a situation the Lord is commanding to happen in the future. This is the house of David, the next regime. Oh man, what it talks about the house of David as an old. Let's get that. Further proof, them niggas ain't of the house of David. They of the house of Saul. Which is continuing to getting weaker and weaker. It got to be Amos 9. Right. Amos 9 and 11, it reads, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So the Lord is uniting Israel, and chiefly the house of David, the elect. That's why you're seeing the tribes coming together, and really just going back, the elect, the house of David, the tabernacles of David. That's who the Lord is remembering. That's who the Lord is considering. It says, and as you can see, this regime is coming back in the earth. This the next system in the earth. Oh, it talks about in Daniel 2 and 44, it says, in that day shall the power of heaven set up the kingdom. That's the house of David, man. And it said, and they shall possess these the other kingdoms, man. Pretty much. They're gonna this kingdom is not gonna be destroyed, and pretty much gonna smash everything else, man, and be on top. That's concerning the house of David that's being set up in this time. It says in that day, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, said the Lord that doeth this. And it said the remnant of Edom, and that's really going into the land, because it's not going to be any more Edomites. You know, after those 1,000 years, these Edomites are going to be destroyed, because even the scripture going to it's not going to be no more weapons burned. I mean, the weapons are going to be burned, and of course the actual weapons, and because ain't going to be no more use for a gun, or you got a grenade stashed somewhere. No, it's not going to be no use for it. As well as Esau, he's going to be burned as well, because he's known as the sword. He's going to be burned too. And, so that remnant of Edom is going into the land. We're going to actually have the land of Edom. How they try to possess our land. You got these rats over there now. Well, we're going to actually possess the land of Edom. Because the land is going to be expanded. In the spirit, Levi, we're going to get his portion. So continue on. It says that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen, which are called by my name, said the Lord that doeth this. So possessing the heathen, them, and like I said, they're going into their lands, and those certain resources, they're going to cultivate those resources for us. That's going to be ours, man. So this just further prove that these guys are not of the house of David. They are not acquainted with the Holy Spirit. And at the end of the day, them niggas just want to stay here in America. They don't want justice. Isaiah 14:2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. See? What's that as well? Revelation 13. He that leadeth to captivity shall go into captivity. So what else? That's not just something, like I said, you just read past it. No, this is a commandment. As well, a nigga might say this was the Bible days. It was this already happened. No, this is a standard. Just like on it's a law on the books. You got Brown versus the Board of Education. It wasn't a law before that, but now if a situation happened now, you can pull that scenario up and use that as a template. So now, once again, you could say this concerning Babylon, the ancient Babylon. We know this concerning now, but a nigga might say this concerning Babylon, the Assyrians. But guess what? We can use this as a template, because guess what? It's the same scenario taking place right now. And the results, what? We're going to rule over our oppressors, man. So them niggas ain't of the house of David, man. They of the house of Saul. They are not of the elect. And that's why we just hope the Lord keep us, enduring to the end. Because these nations will be subjects until, just look at what they have done. The Lord is not what's that? He shall not it's a marvel if any escape unpunished. So I just hope it will edify, like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect that teach his word in all true faith and sincerity. Shalom.